Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines, where this is not the most auspicious start I've ever had, to be sure, but it will be completely fine. We're going to take it up to speed 3, and what we're going to do here is, actually I want to change a little bit of the zoning here, because we need to push for a population of 420 as soon as possible. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to remove this section of commercial here, which is really unnecessary. And we're going to zone this section over here to also be residential. Now that does mean that we've got this section over here as our buffer between residential and industrial, and that's okay. We'll see how that ends up playing out. But we're currently a little bit negative in our cash, and our cash is slowly increasing. Now I am going to drop our budget for electricity. It doesn't actually do anything at this stage, but we're going to drop that back down just in case it causes issues in the future, and that way I can remember. And yeah, we're not surprised that we are losing a lot of people over here. This is completely expected and not in the slightest an issue. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get rid of all of these abandoned homes. Again, with all this blackout issues, we're not surprised by it. It is completely expected. So we're going to proceed here, and we can see that they are building over here as well. What we really need is new house construction so that we have this timer with the blackout. Yes, I'm aware that there's a power issue. You can stop tweeting. Fantastic. So we are getting rid of all of these. This is helping out our power issue to some degree, but more importantly, our cash is now positive. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that house as well. And yeah, we're not going to have much housing demand. This is not surprising. We're going to get rid of this one, as well as this one, as well as this one. Fantastic. So you can see here we are losing a few people. This is not shocking to me. Get rid of this over here. Fantastic. And we are building up cash. That is the important thing here. We need to build up 6,000. And then once we have that, we can deal with our blackout issue. And then, and only then, will we be able to actually work on this again. So that'll be good. We're continuing to bulldoze these, and yeah, this is completely expected. This was obviously going to continue to happen for a little while. So we'll get rid of those. Excellent. As well as these. Fantastic. You can see there's still a little bit of demand for housing here, which is always a little bit shocking. You'd think by now everybody would have left and nobody would come in because our reputation would be so terrible, but that's not how it works. So that is great. We have broken 300 population, and we are just continuing to work our way up here. That's going to be a pretty big exodus there, and that is, of course, fully expected. Ooh, I did not mean to destroy that road. That was not great. That's going to set us back a little bit. We do need to rebuild that road, though. So let's go ahead and do that. 440. I really did not want to do that. Okay. And yes, again, this is all completely expected. We're up to about 1,200 in terms of our cash, and we will get rid of these as well. Excellent. Oh, we've got another abandoned structure over here. This is not shocking. This is exactly what I expected to have to deal with over here today. Yep. This is all very, very normal. Eventually, we'll get to a point where there's so few of them that we have just our normal amount of electricity. But, I mean, they keep building, and our population is actually coming up here, which is nice. That is certainly very, very nice. These guys should not be stopping here. Interesting. We'll take a look at that in a bit, but for right now, we need to destroy additional abandoned homes. Again, this is very deeply unsurprising, and this is what we expect. We do have half of the money that we need now to build ourselves another wind generator. And once we have the wind generator, we'll be able to hit our population benchmark extremely easily. So that is mostly what we are looking for here. We're currently making about 600 per week. and that is not bad. And yeah, this is not surprising over here in the slightest. Okay, we now have 2/3 of what we need. That's great. And yeah, we're lacking people, and we're lacking electricity. This is all fully expected. We're not going to hit a death spiral here. We're going to just squeak in our power requirements. I don't like this pollution over here, but we don't really have tools to deal with that just yet. So we will delete all of these buildings that are being abandoned, and that is fully expected. At this point, I'm going to come over here, and we are going to figure out where we want to place this particular wind turbine. I think right here is where we're going to want it. And we'll put that in as soon as we have the cash, which is going to be right about now. Fantastic. Problem temporarily solved. Okay, let's get rid of the rest of these guys. Ooh, I did not mean to get rid of that one. Let's get rid of the rest of these abandoned structures over here. That was not the one that I was aiming for. Okay. Well, now we've got power. And we should hit our 420 population very, very shortly. In fact, there it is. Fantastic. So that gives us access to landfills, elementary schools, recycling centers, community schools, and medical clinics. I would like to avoid using landfills wherever possible. We are going to go ahead and put in a recycling center. It has to be here, actually, which is awkward. It removes that little area, but that's okay. So we do want an elementary school in here for sure. We don't have the cash at this exact moment, but we will very, very shortly. So that's great. And we're going to expand this particular design in a little while. I do want to take a look over here at the intersection that we've got going on over here. Okay, so this is currently yielding. This should also yield. Okay. Whereas this has through traffic priority. I think that was the core issue there. Fantastic. Okay, so we'll allow that to continue. Why are you guys stopping here? I don't know why this guy stopped. Why did you stop? There's no reason to stop right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it has to be this. Do I have to apply this or something? Clear traffic, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I have to apply this. These guys are stopping here, which is correct. I guess they're waiting for this guy to come in, but he should yield. He should absolutely yield. Like, why did this guy stop? At any rate, I don't need to be too obsessed about that right now. What we should do is we should crank our taxes up to the highest level that they will accept. And I've found that 12% on all of these is exactly what they will allow without complaints. So we'll go ahead and crank that right on up. We could take this loan. It's not a tremendously efficient loan to take, so I think I'll hold off on that for the moment. We do require additional power. This is not at all shocking, and I actually kind of want to save up for a power plant, but we have the cash right now for a wind turbine, and we're going to put that in for now, just to put ourselves up to 24 megawatts production. I would like a more powerful power plant, but for right now, this will have to do. And of course, we're going to continue to expand this hub a little bit. This area over here will have to become a commercial area over here, but this can become residential. That's okay. And of course, some of these areas will have to be removed, but again, that's reasonably fine. I'm not sure how we'll handle the rocks over here, because that's going to be going basically right through there. So that's pretty exciting stuff, to be sure. So I would very much like to put in elementary school. What is the cost of that? 10,000? Okay. Yeah, we can definitely pull that off. That will be a-okay. Now, what is our next population milestone? Our next milestone is 800, We're definitely going to have to expand this for that. And this road is very temporary. I don't like it, but it'll do for now. Excellent. I think we'll go ahead and take this loan. It's not super efficient, but we'll do it so that we can get our education going ASAP. And I kind of want this to be facing this direction. Is there like a spot over here? Yeah, this is not a terrible location. Okay. Wonderful. We'll get some education going. As far as healthcare goes, we could probably use a medical clinic. And this is actually a pretty good spot for one. We'll go ahead and do that. Wonderful. Okay, and there are ambulances out of that. Fantastic. Just wanted to double check that. So there's all of our new services in. We do have some small commercial demand right now. So I'm going to go ahead and zone this buffer area here as commercial. Something along the lines of that. Now, some of this over here will be removed when we expand, but that'll be fine. In fact, we should probably think about doing that expansion right about now. Okay, so I want to move this out to here. And then this would definitely go this direction. So that would connect in here and then go down to, in theory, here, like this. Yeah, that would be about right. Excellent. So we'll do that. This is, of course, going to have to go the opposite direction, but we can flip that. That's not a big deal. So we do something like that, and then we flip this road to go this direction, like so. Okay. And then we would need to, of course, connect this in up here. Not enough money. Fair enough. Fair enough. Indeed. So we're just waiting on a little bit of cash here, and then we'll do that. And we will, of course, need to work on our junction here. This would yield, and this would yield, like that. Wonderful. We can also do that speed limit increase where we are going like 50 kilometers per hour over here while we're waiting on additional cash to come in. And of course, having that loan doesn't exactly help our cash flow, right? But that's fine. So this is the overall expansion plan for right now. Now, of course, we're going to have to make other hubs eventually, but for now, this is a fairly expandable concept. I'm reasonably happy with this so far. And let's go ahead and put in a two-way road here. Yes, it will demolish those couple of locations, but that'll be okay for now. That will buy us quite a bit more space in our residential area. And then the question is, how are we going to navigate these rocks? Like, we're not going to have the cash for this, right? But I'm just wondering, how exactly will we navigate these rocks? So that would come in to here. That would take out literally every single rock. Okay. That's definitely unacceptable. So we'll have to think about that. One thing we could potentially do is extend this guy out to here, and then from there wrap it around and put this one in, you know, it would normally be like this, but it would connect in, say, up here. So it could connect in... We'd have to figure out the exact angle, but something like that, and then have it wrap around and join in up here. It's a potential option. I'm not sure how great of an option it truly is, but it is an option. Now, how much do we actually have to pay back on this loan? That is going to be a total of 19,000. That's okay. We will just let that continue for now. So we've got ourselves a little bit of residential demand, and I do want to work on getting this particular... We want this to be a straight line. Getting this particular circle set up here. And this one would be one way and would come in like that. Excellent. Okay, so with this quadrant of the circle done, that's great. Let's go ahead and zone the interior portions here because we definitely do want additional residential, and we're going to have to consider water as well. So how are we going to expand our water system, is the question. This is the current water setup. And it seems to me like this would be fairly easily extensible by doing simply something like this. I don't necessarily like this situation that we've got going on. That's something we can think about later on. But we can do this like every other circle or something. Do that. And then we could move this into this interior circle, in theory. We don't have the cash to do it immediately. I'm going to hold off on that. What is taking the post office so long? Well, we don't have a post office, so that might have something to do with it. Oh boy. But overall, I am reasonably content with how this is going. Now, we are hitting a little bit of terrain here. I'm not too concerned about automatic terraforming happening there, I think. That'll be okay. I would love to expand this up here. So I'm going to take this out to... Well, we can't even do that because that would remove this rock. So we'd have to bump it out to, say, here. Like that. And then we'd have to curve that around here. Something like this. And then bring that in over this way. Kind of like this-ish, approximately. Like, I don't actually like this corner here, and I'm going to keep the game paused here, because we're going to bulldoze that and revert it back. And then bring that in something like that. I mean, we don't have the cash. We could simply do something like this. Yeah, this, I think, would work reasonably well. We're waiting on a little cash here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out, like this. And then we would bring this in over here, like that. It'll leave us a small gap here, but I think that's acceptable. And then from there, we will delete this section of road, and that would come in over this way, like this or so. Like that straight out, right? So we would have that come in over like... I'd like to get this in a little tighter, like have that angle end up being not like that. But instead have this come out straight from here. Except for we've got this small problem. And unfortunately we can't move this rock to be like over here. So we're definitely going to have to consider a small curve here. We'll bring it out straight, and I suppose we could bring it in like this. The question is, how much do I hate that? We need to figure out the exact point where this is supposed to be, which is here. It's supposed to go here. So we bring that in like so. I probably want to redo this hook shape here. And then this would have to have a small curve to it, where it comes out kind of like that. So this is the final point that we are looking for there. Let's redo this section over here. And swing it out like this. Now I want to have this in one single segment, is what I'm trying to do here. So we would have it come in up over like this. That's apparently an invalid shape. Ah, this would potentially do. Okay. Now from there, I would like to redo this section, and we have to have it curve out a little bit. I don't like this section. I don't like it at all. Mostly because it's got this kind of non-flow area here, where this road doesn't flow well, you know? That's the core issue right now. So maybe if we were to bring this around like this instead, and then bring it out like this. Ah, that doesn't quite do. Which means that this wouldn't flow right here. Yeah, I don't like that. But we could potentially delete this section. and have this maybe just curve directly in. This might work. Let's do it. Let's get that money. Okay, like that. And then, of course, this right here pretty much would be our attach point for up here. A little awkward, to be sure, but we can figure that out pretty easily. About like that. So that should be reasonably fine. Now, it's certainly not the prettiest. There's no doubt about that. But I don't want to disrupt this rock formation. And at least we don't have any ugly switchback hooks going there. That's always obnoxious when that happens. Of course, this should be one way over here, so we'll go ahead and upgrade that like so. This over here should be two-way, though. It's very awkward. Very, very awkward. Have I decided that I hate this? Maybe I have. I mean, I already abandoned my principles last episode, or was it episode before? Like, I think episode 1, the principles were abandoned. We would destroy literally every rock here if we went with the pattern, right? So I guess I will leave it up to you guys. I would like to hear from you. Do we want to adhere to the pattern, or do we want to avoid this rock formation? Please let me know, because I would be very, very interested in hearing your opinions on that. For now, I'll leave this as is, and we will just ignore that. And we'll build this in. Of course, we can safely remove this section of power line. That's completely fine. And we'll just ignore this connection over here until I've heard from you guys on that, I think. Well, actually, now that I think about it, and actually that's a potential issue there, but now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to record the next episode before I hear from you guys. We may just hold off on constructing this area until after this episode goes live. I'm currently working ahead a little bit in order to buy some time for myself to pray. Yeah, that sounds right. To play the Burning Crusade pre-patch a little bit more extensively. I'm going to relocate this over here. We're going to need to do that. And yeah, we'll just leave this as is until this episode goes live, which may be several episodes in the future. I'd have to check to see how far ahead I am right now, but that's definitely going to be the case. While we're working on this, though, I'm going to just check this situation here. Okay, yeah, this is about what I thought it would look like. Great. So what I'm going to do is we're going to build this in here, like this. And then this connector would come in here then, instead of up there. Now, we don't have the money right now, but we're definitely going to build this connector to here as soon as we have the cash tick in. Any moment now. Okay. And yeah, there's this over here, and the problem with that, of course, is that we need to extend this out 1 block's worth. Which would be... How much is 1 block's worth? Like, how much does that cost? 220. Okay, so we need to move that out 220 worth. Like so. We've got the cash now, and then connect this in over here for 660. That'll be just fine. And we'll just overhaul our pipe situation here. But we've got plenty that we can work on without working on this section up here, so I'll just leave that be for now. And once I hear from you guys on your opinions on this, then we'll make a final decision on this situation. But please let me know on that one. And I may talk about it in future episodes, which come out after you've already responded to me on it. Okay, that's noted. Just keep in mind, I'm currently working ahead. I don't usually work all that far ahead, but right now I am. And it's going to be interesting. So next thing that we need, of course, is going to be another wind turbine. And I think we'll just continue putting wind turbines up here until we've filled all of the locations where you can have an 8 megawatt wind turbine. Have we already done that? We may have already done that. Technically, this one would work. Okay, that's fine. We definitely need to get a more high throughput power plant for temporary. We may want to save up and get a coal power plant. Our electricity consumption has dropped a bit, so I'm thinking that we may well want to do this. Just so that I don't accidentally build here again, I'm going to go ahead and put in a road going this way. It doesn't go anywhere, but the major purpose right now is to just make sure that that area is reserved. And I want to make sure that we can actually go out here. Yeah, we can. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to work on a more permanent solution to our power issues. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.